Before you take another bite of that Big Mac, you need to hear this. That burger you just unwrapped didn't start in anything resembling a kitchen. It started in a slaughterhouse processing plant inside machinery the size of a warehouse, and by the time it reached your hands, it had been frozen, treated with chemicals, shipped across the country, and reheated under a heat lamp for God knows how long. In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on exactly how McDonald's food is really made. Every step, every ingredient, every secret they don't put on the menu board. By the end, you'll never look at a McDonald's bag the same way again. If you think the beef is where McDonald's story gets uncomfortable, you're right, but it's only the beginning. The beef patty. Let's start with the burger itself, because this is where the deception begins. McDonald's tells you their beef patties are made from 100% pure beef, and technically that's true. But pure beef is doing an enormous amount of heavy lifting in that sentence. The beef used in McDonald's patties is sourced from dozens of suppliers across the UK and Europe. These aren't small family farms. These are industrial cattle operations where animals are raised at scale, fed grain-based diets designed to fatten them as fast as possible, and processed through facilities handling thousands of carcasses every single day. A former beef supplier who provided product to McDonald's UK for over 8 years told me the spec McDonald's requires is incredibly tight on price. They're not buying prime cuts, they're buying beef trim. The leftover pieces after the steaks, the roasts, and the premium cuts have been removed. Shoulder trimmings, chuck trimmings, everything that's left after the butcher is done. That trim gets shipped to processing plants where it's combined from multiple animals, sometimes hundreds of different cows in a single batch. The meat is inspected, but it's ground together into a uniform paste before anyone knows exactly what they're dealing with. Then comes the shaping. The beef is pushed through industrial forming machines that punch out perfectly round patties at speeds of up to 600 per minute. These patties are then flash frozen at -18 degrees Celsius and shipped to McDonald's distribution centres, where they sit until they're needed. By the time a patty hits the grill in your local McDonald's, it has been frozen for anywhere from a few days to several weeks. Here's what that does to the meat. Freezing at this temperature ruptures cell walls in the muscle fibers. When the patty thaws on the grill, it loses moisture rapidly. This is why McDonald's burgers are cooked on a clamshell grill that applies heat from both sides simultaneously. It's not for flavor. It's to cook the burger fast enough that it doesn't dry out completely before it reaches you. The seasoning is also worth examining. McDonald's patties are seasoned with salt and pepper only, but the beef itself is manipulated before it ever gets to the seasoning stage. The fat content in McDonald's beef trim is standardized to between 17 and 20%. If the trim is too lean, fat is added back in. If it's too fatty, leaner trim is blended in. The goal is a consistent product, not a quality product. When I asked a food technologist who had worked on fast food contracts to analyze a McDonald's patty, she told me the water content is higher than you'd expect in quality beef. They're selecting trim with a higher moisture retention rate because it keeps the burger from shrinking too dramatically during cooking. You're paying for water weight when you order that burger. And if you thought the patty was the problem, wait until you hear what's holding it together. The bun. 30 ingredients for something that should need 3. Bread is flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's it. That's all bread has ever needed to be. A McDonald's burger bun has 30 ingredients. The bun is produced by industrial bakeries under contract to McDonald's. The base ingredients, flour, water, and yeast, are there, but then the list keeps going. Calcium propionate, which is a preservative that prevents mold. Sodium stearoyl lactylate, which is an emulsifier that improves dough texture. Ammonium sulfate, which is a dough conditioner that feeds yeast during rapid industrial baking. Ascorbic acid, which is added as a flour improver. Then there's the high fructose corn syrup. McDonald's buns contain added sugar, specifically high fructose corn syrup, to create that slight sweetness and to help the bun achieve that golden brown color when it's toasted. The Maillard reaction, the chemical process that creates browning, happens faster with added sugars. It makes the bun look freshly baked even when it absolutely isn't. A former McDonald's baker who worked at one of their UK contracted bakeries told me these buns are made in batches of thousands. The mixing is automated, the shaping is automated, the proving is time-controlled rather than judged by eye, the way a traditional baker would do it. The buns go through an industrial oven on a conveyor belt. The whole process from dough to packaged bun takes about 90 minutes. Real bread takes hours, sometimes if you're proving it properly. When McDonald's says their buns are baked fresh, they mean baked at a factory, not at your local restaurant. They arrive at the store already packaged, ready to be briefly toasted on a contact grill. That toasting process lasts about 40 seconds. It's enough to create grill marks and warm the bun. It is not enough to create anything resembling the crust or texture of genuinely fresh bread. But the bun is just the wrapper. What they've done to the cheese sitting inside it is a whole different level of deception. The cheese. This isn't cheese. The square of yellow that sits on your burger isn't cheese. Legally, it cannot be called cheese in the UK. It is a processed cheese product, and that distinction matters more than McDonald's would ever want you to think about. Real cheese is made from 4 things: milk, salt, cultures, and rennet. That's it. That's all it has ever needed to be. Humans have been making cheese with those 4 ingredients for over 8,000 years. McDonald's cheese slices have a very different story. They start with a blend of real cheese, typically cheddar, but that's where the similarity to actual cheese ends. Into that blend goes whey powder, which is a byproduct of cheese production that's cheap and abundant. Then, vegetable oil is used to reduce costs and adjust the fat content. Then water to bulk it out. Then, emulsifying salts, such as sodium citrate and sodium phosphate, which are the chemicals that hold the whole thing together. Then, to extend shelf life far beyond what real cheese could manage. Then, artificial colouring is used to make it look like cheese, even though the base product no longer does. What comes out of that process is not cheese. It is a cheese-flavoured product made from some cheese, rebuilt with chemicals into something that behaves the way McDonald's needs it to behave. A food scientist who spent 12 years developing processed dairy products for fast food chains told me, the whole point of processed cheese slices is control. You need a product that melts at a precise temperature, holds its shape until it hits heat, doesn't separate, doesn't drip, and doesn't vary between batches. Real cheese does all of those things. It separates, it varies, and it behaves differently depending on age and moisture content. Processed cheese is engineered to eliminate all of that unpredictability. That engineering shows up in the melting behavior. Pull a slice of real cheddar out of your fridge and melt it under a grill. It pools unevenly. The fat separates slightly at the edges. It bubbles and browns. It behaves like a natural product because it is one. Melt a McDonald's cheese slice and watch what happens. It softens uniformly across the entire surface at almost the same moment. It stretches without breaking. It coats the burger like a thin film. It doesn't drip, doesn't burn, doesn't separate. It looks perfect every single time. That consistency is not a quality indicator. It is the product of chemical engineering. You are watching emulsifying salts do their job, breaking down the protein matrix of the original cheese and rebuilding it into a substance that behaves like plastic until heat is applied. The color is the final insult. Natural cheddar is not reliably yellow. Its color ranges from almost white in winter when cows eat hay rather than fresh grass, to deep orange in summer when beta-carotene from fresh pasture concentrates in the milk. A well-aged farmhouse cheddar can be almost pale. An industrially produced young cheddar is often cream-coloured. That variability doesn't suit McDonald's. Their cheese needs to be the same, bright, appealing yellow every single time, regardless of the season, the source dairy, or the quality of the base cheddar. So, annatto extract, a natural dye derived from the seeds of the achiote tree, is added to every batch to achieve a consistent colour year-round. The cheese looks like cheese, it melts like cheese in a controlled, engineered way. It tastes vaguely of cheese thanks to added flavour compounds, but it is not cheese. It has not been cheese for a long time, and if processed cheese wasn't enough, the sauce they're drowning it all in was designed in a laboratory specifically to make you unable to stop eating. The sauce in engineered addiction in a bottle. McDonald's Big Mac sauce. People talk about it like it's a closely guarded secret. The truth is more unsettling than any secret recipe. The sauce is produced in bulk by a third-party manufacturer and delivered to McDonald's restaurants in large dispensing bags. The base is mayonnaise, but industrial mayonnaise made with soybean oil, not the egg yolk and olive oil version you'd make at home. To that base, they add sweet pickle relish, yellow mustard, white wine vinegar, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. Simple enough. But then there are the additives. Potassium sorbate is a preservative. Calcium disodium, EDTA, to preserve colour and prevent oxidation. Natural flavours, a catch-all term that can legally include hundreds of different flavour compounds that manufacturers don't have to disclose individually. The phrase natural flavours is one of the most misleading in the food industry. A flavour compound can be derived from a natural source and still be processed beyond recognition. The original material might be a plant or an animal product, but by the time it reaches the source, it's been through chemical extraction and concentration that has nothing natural about it. Food scientists who specialise in flavour chemistry are paid enormous salaries to create flavours that trigger specific neurological responses. The goal is not to taste good. The goal is to make you want more. Salt, fat, and sugar hit dopamine pathways in the brain. A sauce engineered to balance all three creates a craving loop that is, by design, difficult to break. This is not an accident. This is the product. By the time you're halfway through a Big Mac, you're not eating food the way humans have eaten for thousands of years. You're eating a product designed in a laboratory, manufactured at an industrial scale, and engineered to override the signals that would normally tell you to stop. And that's just the burger. Let's go deeper to talk about the chicken, the fries, the drinks, and the secrets McDonald's has never wanted you to know. If this reveal made you uncomfortable, I need you to stay with me for this one, because what McDonald's does to chicken, what they do to potatoes, and what they put in those drinks is somehow even more disturbing than the burger. So that's the burger, but millions of people walk into McDonald's every day and never order a burger at all. And what they're getting instead is somehow even harder to stomach. The Chicken McNugget, 50 years of industrial engineering. The Chicken McNugget was invented in 1979 by a food scientist named Roger Baker at Cornell University. McDonald's adopted the concept in 1983, and it has been one of their best-selling products ever since. Here is what a Chicken McNugget actually is. It starts with mechanically separated chicken. This is a process where chicken carcasses, after the breast meat, thighs and wings have been removed for other products, are pushed through a machine under high pressure. The bones act as a sieve. What comes out the other side is a paste of muscle tissue, connective tissue, fat, skin, and trace amounts of bone that pass through the sieve. This paste is the base protein in a Chicken McNugget. A former McDonald's supplier who processed chicken for the UK market for 11 years told me, mechanically separated chicken is what's left when everything else has been taken. It's not bad meat in the sense that it makes you sick. It goes through safety testing, but it is the absolute lowest value part of the animal, and it's being sold to you in a product that costs over £1 per nugget. To this paste, McDonald's adds water, salt, and a binding system that holds the nugget together. The binding system includes modified starch, sodium phosphate, and a range of stabilizers. Without these, the mechanically separated chicken paste would fall apart during cooking. The nugget is then shaped. McDonald's actually has 4 official nugget shapes: the bell, the boot, the ball, and the bow tie, before being coated in a wet batter and a dry tempera coating. These coatings add texture and create the outer crust that you actually taste when you bite into a nugget. The coating ingredients include bleached wheat flour, yellow corn flour, salt, spices, leavening agents, and dextrose. The dextrose is another form of sugar added to help the coating brown during cooking and to add subtle sweetness that makes the nugget more palatable. The nuggets are par-fried in vegetable oil at the factory, which partially cooks the coating and sets the shape, then frozen and shipped to restaurants where they are fried again to order. So by the time you eat a chicken McNugget, it has been fried twice. The inside is barely involved in that second frying. It's the coating that crisps up. The chicken paste inside just gets hot. A nutritionist who analysed McDonald's chicken McNuggets for a consumer advocacy group told me the protein content is lower than you'd expect from a chicken product. The ratio of protein to coating, fat and water means you're getting a modest amount of actual protein relative to the calories. If you ate the same weight in chicken breast, you get roughly twice the protein. The 6-piece chicken McNugget meal contains around 45 grams of fat. A chicken breast of comparable protein content would contain under 5 grams. The nuggets are disturbing, but the thing sitting next to them in that box, the thing everyone orders without thinking, has its own story that the industry has never wanted you to know. The phrase, the most engineered food on Earth. McDonald's fries are the most recognizable food in the world. They're also among the most processed. It starts simply enough. McDonald's uses a specific variety of potato, primarily the russet Burbank, selected for its high starch content, long shape, and low sugar levels. Low sugar matters because potatoes with higher sugar content brown too quickly during frying, resulting in dark, bitter fries. The potatoes are harvested, delivered to processing plants, peeled by industrial abrasion, and sliced by water jet cutters moving at over 60 miles per hour. The water jets produce the uniform shape that makes McDonald's fries immediately recognizable. Then the blanching happens. The cut fries are blanched in hot water to remove surface sugars and partially cook the potato. This is standard processing, similar to what any food manufacturer would do. But then things get complicated. After blanching, the fries are treated with dextrose, that's sugar again, to promote even browning. They're then coated in sodium acid pyrophosphate to prevent the fries from turning grey during freezing. They're par-fried in vegetable oil, then they're sprayed with a sodium diphosphate solution. The specific frying oil has changed over the decades. McDonald's originally used beef tallow, which is why so many people remember the fries from their childhood as tasting different. In the 90s, they switched to vegetable oil under public health pressure, but vegetable oil on its own doesn't replicate the flavour of beef tallow. So McDonald's adds natural beef flavouring to the oil. In the United States, this is disclosed, and it means the fries are not suitable for vegetarians. In the UK, McDonald's fries are cooked in vegetable oil without beef flavouring and are listed as suitable for vegetarians. But the frying oil itself is still shared with meat products in many restaurants, which makes the vegetarian designation misleading for people with strict dietary requirements. A food chemist who worked on frozen potato products told me, the number of steps between a raw potato and a McDonald's fry is staggering. Each step is designed to solve a specific problem: colour, texture, shelf life, consistency. By the time the fry reaches the customer, it has been through more processing steps than almost any other food in a fast food restaurant. When fries are fried in a McDonald's restaurant, they're submerged in oil, heated to between 160 and 175 degrees Celsius. At these temperatures, acrylamide forms. Acrylamide is a chemical compound that develops naturally when starchy foods are cooked at high temperatures, and it has been classified as a probable human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. The UK Food Standards Agency has issued guidance telling consumers to aim for a golden yellow colour when cooking starchy foods at home, because darker cooking increases acrylamide levels. McDonald's fries are cooked until golden. They're not burning them, but the acrylamide risk exists in all high-temperature frying of potatoes, regardless of who's doing it. This is not unique to McDonald's, but it is something the industry doesn't talk about when they're telling you their fries are made from quality potatoes. And after everything you've just heard about the food, the drink you're washing it all down with might actually be the worst part of the entire meal. The drinks. The hidden calories nobody counts. Let's talk about the drinks, because this is where McDonald's operate one of the most profitable and least examined deceptions in the entire fast food industry. Most people who think carefully about what they're eating at McDonald's, who swap the large fries for a medium, who choose the grilled option over the fried, still order a large Coke without thinking twice. The drink feels incidental. It's just a drink. That is exactly what McDonald's wants you to think. A large Coca-Cola at McDonald's contains around 450 calories and approximately 53 grams of sugar. The daily recommended sugar intake for an adult in the UK is 30 grams. One large drink at McDonald's delivers nearly double that in sugar alone before you have taken a single bite of anything. To put 53 grams of sugar in perspective, that is the equivalent of over 13 teaspoons of white sugar dissolved in one cup. If you sat down at a table and spooned 13 teaspoons of sugar into a glass, you would not drink it. But McDonald's delivers that same amount cold, carbonated, flavored with caramel coloring and phosphoric acid, and designed to go down without you noticing what you're consuming. The temperature is not an accident. McDonald's serves its soft drinks significantly colder than what you'd receive from a standard vending machine or corner shop. Internal research across the food and beverage industry has consistently shown that colder drinks are perceived as less sweet. The colder something is, the more your taste buds are suppressed. What would taste cloyingly sweet at room temperature becomes refreshing at near freezing. Customers drink more. They feel less satisfied per sip. They reach for the large without hesitation. A former McDonald's operations manager told me, "The drink temperatures are specified down to the degree in the operations manual. It's not about keeping it cold for freshness. It's about hitting the temperature at which customers perceive the drink as refreshing rather than sweet. There's a very specific sweet spot, and McDonald's has known what it is for decades. The frappes are significantly worse. A large caramel frappe contains over 500 calories and 60 grams of sugar. That is more sugar than 2 standard cans of Coca-Cola, presented in a cup with whipped cream on top and a drizzle of caramel sauce. Marketed as a coffee drink because it contains a small amount of coffee extract somewhere in the base. The coffee branding matters because it changes how customers mentally categorize the drink. A can of Coca-Cola, people know, is sugary. A caramel frappe sounds like a premium coffee shop drink. It sounds like an afternoon indulgence rather than a sugar delivery system. McDonald's built the entire McAfee concept around that perception shift. Premium, coffee adjacent, grown up, while serving drinks whose sugar content rivals the most criticized items on their menu. A dietitian who tracks her clients' food diaries told me, "The number of times I see someone eating reasonably carefully and then ordering a frappe or a flavored latte without a second thought is staggering. They're focused on the food. The drink doesn't register, and those calories and that sugar are doing exactly as much damage as anything else on the tray." The drinks are where McDonald's extracts its highest margins and delivers its most disproportionate sugar load. They are a part of the meal most people never reconsider. And they are, by the numbers, one of the most significant contributors to what a McDonald's meal actually does to your body. Now that you know what's actually in that bag, here's what you do with that information. McDonald's is not poisoning you with a single visit. The issue is not the occasional burger on a long drive or a Friday treat. The issue is the combination of engineered addiction, misleading marketing, and industrial processing that is designed to make you eat more, come back sooner, and pay more attention to price than to what you're actually consuming. If you eat McDonald's regularly, here is what is happening over time. You're consuming processed beef trim with a higher water content than quality meat. You're eating buns with 30 ingredients that are engineered to extend shelf life and consistency, not flavor. You're eating chicken paste shaped into nuggets and fried twice. You're eating fries treated with multiple chemicals and cooked at temperatures that produce acrylamide. And you're drinking sugar in quantities that would horrify you if you saw it measured out in front of you. The first step is just knowing this. Not to punish yourself for enjoying it, but to stop being deceived into thinking it's something it isn't. Stop ordering large drinks. This is the single easiest change with the most dramatic impact on your sugar consumption at a fast food restaurant. Order water or a small drink. The difference in sugar consumption is staggering. If you're going to eat McDonald's, the grilled options are genuinely better than the fried ones. The wraps with grilled chicken contain real chicken breast rather than mechanically separated chicken. It's still processed and still contains additives, but the protein quality is meaningfully better. Cook at home more often. Not because home cooking is always perfect, but because you know what goes into it. A homemade beef burger with good quality mince, a fresh bun from a bakery, and real cheese is not dramatically more expensive than a McDonald's meal when you account for what you're actually getting. And the next time you're about to pull into a drive-thru, just think about what you now know. Not to make yourself feel guilty, but to make an actual choice rather than simply responding to an engineered craving. Have you eaten McDonald's differently since watching this? Has anything here shocked you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think someone you know needs to hear this, share it with them. They deserve to know what they're eating.